Hi, good morning. Welcome to EPG Pathshala Spanish. We are learning the intermediate grammar paper and we are going to be talking about how to do the direct indirect object pronoun which we did in the last chapter, and now we're going to talk about the knowledge of object pronouns Gustar. I'd like to briefly introduce myself. I am Rajiv Saxena. I teach in the Center of Spanish, Portuguese, Italian and Latin American Studies in the Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Well, as I've told you that in the previous module, we have studied the direct and indirect object pronouns, and these are very important to know because without knowing them, we cannot learn gustar and its uses, which are very important in the Spanish language. Not only gustar, but other verbs also, which we are going to be dealing with in this module. In Spanish, some verbs are used in the third person singular or plural with an indirect object pronoun. Gustar is one of those verbs which expresses likes and dislikes. For example, I like chocolate. In this sentence, we have the subject pronoun I. But when we translate it to Spanish, we use the indirect object pronoun instead. So, in this case, it becomes me. Me gusta el chocolate. The translation of me gusta el chocolate in English would be chocolates are liked by me, or I like the chocolate. You like ice cream. Let us go on with another example with the form to. You like ice cream. In this sentence, we have a subject pronoun you, but when we translate it to Spanish, we use the indirect object pronoun again, and in this case it is they, as we learnt in the previous module. So the translation would be of you like ice cream, te gusta el helado. Again, we talk about the nosotros form or the plural of you, which is we. So we like chocolate. In this sentence also, we have a subject pronoun we, but when we translate it into Spanish, we use the indirect object pronoun. In this case, will be nos, as we have learnt in the last module. So it should be nos gusta el chocolate. As we can see that the verb gustar is not in accordance with the English subject pronoun I, you or we, but with the object, which is the chocolate in this case, which becomes the subject in the Spanish structure. This structure may take a bit of practice for the English speakers trying to learn Spanish. To avoid confusion, we can simply say that the verb gustar agrees with the subject of the Spanish sentence. I repeat, the verb gustar or other verbs like that agree with the subject of the Spanish sentence. The example mentioned above has chocolate as subject. Chocolate, which is singular, that is why it is gustar, whether it is I, you or we. Now, let us take another example of the verb gustar. We go on to another verb, which is parecer, which is also not in accordance with the English subject pronoun, but the object, like in gustar, which becomes the subject in Spanish sentence. This such structure may also take a bit of practice for English speakers learning Spanish. Again, we can simply say that the verb parecer agrees with the subject of the Spanish sentence. The example mentioned above has chocolate and ice cream as subject. I like chocolate, you like ice cream, we all like ice cream. So let us take another example with the verb parecer. So we say, me parece que a ti te gustan los chocolates. So me parece would be the parecer of the parecer, and that is how we deal with it. Not only that, we can clearly see that the verb gustar is also not in accordance with the English subject pronoun in the examples like we have given I, you or we, but instead it is in accordance with the object, which is in this case chocolate, masculine, singular, which has become the subject in the Spanish sentence. This structure may take a bit of practice for English speakers trying to learn Spanish. To avoid this confusion, we can simply say that the verb gustar agrees with the subject of the Spanish sentence. I repeat, the verb gustar agrees with the subject of the Spanish sentence. The example mentioned above has chocolate as a subject. So let us move on to other examples to explain to you how this verb gustar is being used, because not only gustar, there are other verbs also like parecer, which is also not in accordance with this English subject pronoun, but the object, which again becomes the subject in the Spanish sentence. Again, parecer also agrees with the subject of the Spanish sentence. Uh, I come back to the verb gustar, and the examples which we had talked about had chocolate and ice cream as subject, which are both masculine and singular. So let us take other examples to be talking about and explaining how the verb and the subject here changes. I is the subject in English, but it does not remain so in Spanish. It changes to the indirect object pronoun me, which we have learnt in the previous module of dealing with the indirect object pronouns and the direct object pronoun. In English, the verb was in agreement with I, but in Spanish, it will be in agreement with chocolate or chocolates, singular, masculine, or plural, masculine. Chocolates was acting as an object in the English sentence, but in Spanish, it will become the subject and Gustar will agree with it. I repeat, chocolates was an object in the English sentence, but in Spanish, it becomes the subject. Spanish, the subject becomes Gustar and Gustar will agree with it. Me gustan los chocolates. I repeat again, me gustan los chocolates. In the previous sentences, it was me gusta los el chocolate because, or as per chocolate, which is singular, gustar had become gusta. Now, because we are talking about chocolates, los chocolates, the verb gustar will be conjugated as plural, which is me gustan los chocolates. Note the use of the definite article before each subject. El chocolate, los chocolates, both which follow the verbs me gusta, or in the case of plural, me gustan. I repeat again, always you have to put the definite article before each subject, el chocolate, los chocolates, to clarify that the verb gusta is being conjugated as per singular or plural as per the definite article and as the subject. Now it is very clear that the verb is so. Now let's finish off with chocolates and let's move on to another tasty thing, which is helados. Helados is ice cream, right? So let's continue with plural. So we can say te gustan los helados. You like ice creams. So the translation of this as per Spanish would be te gustan los helados. Again, the definite article before each subject, el helado, te gusta el helado, or los helados, te gustan los helados. Again, you can see that with el helado, it changes to gusta, and with los helados, the verb changes to te gustan. Now, we move on to the use of prepositional pronouns. The use of prepositional pronouns is often used to clarify sentences with the third person pronoun le. We had dealt with this even in the last module, which dealt with the prepositional pronouns which create confusion because le can be used for other things also. So, wherever we are using prepositional pronouns of prepositional forms of the pronoun to clarify, then we always put the third person pronoun to specify. So we can say, a ella le gustan las mariposas. She likes butterflies. A ella, the subject, le gustan as per the object, which is las mariposas, which are the butterflies. A ella le gustan las mariposas. She likes butterflies. The prepositional form may also be used for emphasis and precede all forms of indirect object pronouns. prepositional forms may also be used for emphasizing, and they precede, they come before all the forms of indirect object pronouns or the IOPs. So it will be a mí me gustan las bicicletas. A mí, which is the subject, me gustan, which is the verb. Gustar has been conjugated as per las bicicletas, which is the motorcycles. So a mí me gustan las bicicletas. I like motorcycles. Again, another example would be a mí me gusta el cine. El cine is cinema, which is in Spanish masculine singular. So it will be a mí me gusta, which is singular, el cine, which is singular masculine. A ti te gustan los ordenadores. We are moving on to plural, that is why it will be a ti, which is do you, te gustan are liked, los ordenadores, the computers. You like computers. A ti te gustan los ordenadores. Los ordenadores, that is why it is gustan. A él, a ella, a usted le gusta el mar. El mar is singular, masculine, the sea. Le gusta, you like, and this can refer to a él, which is to him, a ella, to her, or a usted, which is to him, formal. A nosotros, a nosotras, which means we, masculine, plural, or we, feminine, plural. Nos gustan los motos. We like the motorcycles. Las motos, that is why it is gustan. So it is very clear that for singular and for plural, we change gusta or gustan. More examples. A vosotros, vosotras, os gusta el radio. So it is to you all is like the radio. Again, the verb gustar is not being conjugated as per the subject but as per the object, which is singular and masculine. So, a vosotros, vosotras, os gusta el radio. A ellos, a ellas, a ustedes les gustan las motocicletas. Gustar has been conjugated not as per a ellos, a ellas, a ustedes, but as per motocicletas, which is the sentence properly would be a ellos, a ellas, a ustedes les gustan las motocicletas. Not only does a prepositional pronoun, but also a noun or a name can also be used to clarify which person likes or dislikes something or someone. So, the prepositional pronoun of a, me, a, ti can be replaced by the person who likes or dislikes something or someone. So, for example, we can say a Mohan le gustan los videojuegos. Mohan likes video games. A Mohan le gustan los videojuegos. Mohan likes video games. These prepositional pronouns are also used for short responses. What do you mean by short responses? When you are asking a question and the answer is given in a shorter version. So, for example, to clarify this, a mí me gustan las tortas. I like cakes. What about you? ¿Y a ti? So, instead of repeating me gustan las tortas y a ti te gustan las tortas, we say a mí me gustan las tortas. I like cakes. ¿Y a ti? What about you? Or for example, I can ask a question. ¿A quién le gusta la torta de chocolate? Who likes chocolate cake? So, if the question is ¿a quién le gusta la torta de chocolate? For laying emphasis and for having a short response, you can say a mí, a mí, a mí, or I do, I do, I do. So, you're not repeating torta de chocolate every time, but just by saying I do, a mí, or a mí, you are just emphasizing that I like it, I like chocolate cake, I like chocolate cake without repeating chocolate cake every time. So, again, we can change it not from food to another thing, which is ¿a quién le gusta la soledad? Who likes solitude? Right? ¿A quién le gusta la soledad? Who likes solitude? Again, the answer can be a me, or I do. Again, moving on to another example which we have dealt with earlier, el cine. For example, I can ask, ¿A quién le gusta el cine? Who likes movie? Again, the answer can be I do, which is a me. Right? So by this, you can make it very clear how the shorter responses can be done to achieve a greater emphasis and for having a language which is efficient. Again, ¿A quién le gusta los payasos? ¿A quién les gustan los payasos? Who likes clowns? A mí, I do. ¿A quién le gusta dormir? Who likes to sleep? Because dormir is a verb which is unconjugated, it is always considered to be singular. So, the sentence would be, ¿A quién le gusta dormir? Who likes to sleep? Again, the answer can be a mí, a mí, a mí. In the previous examples, we have seen the positives, the positive examples that he likes chocolates, he likes chocolate cake, she likes ice creams. Let us see how the conjugation is done when we come down to the negatives. For example, a Seema no le gusta el coche. Seema does not like the car. So, the no, the negative comes before the conjugated verb. Seema does not like the car. So, it will be A Seema no le gusta el coche. Again, I do not like movies will be translated in Spanish as no me gustan las películas. Películas, because it is plural, that is why it is gustan, and the negative comes before the verb. Right? So I repeat, a Seema no le gusta el coche, Seema does not like the car, or I do not like movies, no me gustan las películas. Again, another negative example would be, a Anjali no le gusta el conductor. A Anjali no le gusta el conductor. Anjali does not like the driver. Let us move on to another thing which is typically Spanish, which is tortillas, omelets, right? No me gustan las tortillas. I do not like omelets. I repeat again. When we are talking about driver, because it is singular, it will remain a Anjali no le gusta el conductor. And because we are talking about omelets, which are plural, tortillas, no me gustan las tortillas. Gusta el conductor, gustan las tortillas. Is it clear? When negation is used, no comes between the prepositional pronoun and the indirect object pronoun, the IOP. In case of absence of the prepositional form, it just comes before the indirect object pronoun, like we have seen in the previous one, that a Anjali no le gusta el conductor, or a mí no me gustan las tortillas. Is it clear? The subject to which the verb gustar is in agreement with can also be a verb. It is not always a noun. In that case, gustar will always be in the third form, singular form, in the third person singular form. I repeat, when the verb gustar is in agreement with, it can also be a verb, then the gustar will always be in the third person singular form. Me gusta montar la bicicleta. I like to ride bicycle. Me gusta montar la bicicleta. I like to ride a bicycle. Or as we have previously seen, me gusta dormir. I like to sleep. Me gusta dormir. I like to sleep. Me gusta montar la bicicleta. I like to ride a bicycle. The subject to which the verb encantar, for example, another verb, is in agreement with, can also be a verb. It is not always a noun. In that case, encantar will be in the third person singular form. Me encanta montar la bicicleta. I like to ride bicycle. So, all we have to do is to replace gustar with encantar, and it is I like to ride a bicycle. Me encanta montar la bicicleta. Some other verbs that function like gustar are apasionar. Apasionar, which is to love passionately. Apasionar is also functioning like the verb gustar. Encantar, to love something, which we have just seen. Me encanta montar bicicleta. Encanta, I like or I love doing something. Encantar, apasionar, or enloquecer, to be driven mad. Me enloquece, right? Entusiasmar, I love, I get very enthusiastic about. To be excited about. Disgustar, to dislike, to hate. Disgustar. Again, like gustar, disgustar. Faltar, to be missing something, not to have something. Fascinar, to be fascinated by. Hacer falta, to be in need of something. So, fascinar, hace falta, faltar, disgustar, all are verbs which are being conjugated like the verb gustar. Importar is also another verb, to care about something, to mind. Interesar, to be interested in something. Interesar. Quedar, to have something left. Me quedan 5 rupias. I am left with 5 rupees. Molestar, to be bothered by. Me molestan los mosquitos. I am bothered by the mosquitoes. Right? Parecer, to seem, to appear to. Me parece importante, it seems important. Sobrar, to have more than enough of something. Me sobra el dinero, I have more than enough of money, for example. Right? Right. So we have seen verbs which are functioning like gustar, like apasionar, encantar, enriquecer, enloquecer, parecer, sobrar, interesar, quedar, molestar, fascinar, hacer falta, importar, or entusiasmar. Let us move on to other verbs which are functioning like the verb gustar. For example, tocar, to be someone's turn. Me toca a mí. Doler, to hurt. Me duele la cabeza. My head hurts. Convenir, to suit someone. Be good for someone. Me conviene vivir aquí en Nueva Delhi. Right? Some examples of all these verbs we can do to understand how the verb gustar is functioning and how these other verbs are also functioning like the verb gustar. ¿Te importa acompañarme a la casa? Would you mind accompanying me to home? ¿Te importa acompañarme a casa? Importa is as per the verb acompañar. Me encantaría. I would love to. So, for the same thing that we have done before, a mí, instead of saying the entire thing, me encantaría acompañarte a casa, I'll just say me encantaría and it is over with. So, te importa, which is like gustar, and me encanta, which is like gustar again. So, we have seen verbs like gustar, which are being conjugated like gustar, which is encantar, apasionar, entusiasmar, parecer, sobrar, interesar, quedar, molestar, fascinar, hace falta, importar, disgustar, faltar. Now we move on to other verbs which function the same as in gustar. For example, tocar, to be someone's turn. Me toca a mí. It is now my turn. Doler, to hurt. Me duele mi cabeza. My head hurts. Convenir, to suit someone, to be good for someone. For example, me conviene vivir en Nueva Delhi. Some more examples to emphasize how the verb gustar and the other verbs function like are: ¿Te importa acompañarme a casa? Would you like to accompany me to home? ¿Te importa acompañarme a la casa? The answer would be me encantaría. I would love to. So instead of repeating me encantaría acompañarte a casa, I'll just say me encantaría. Like we have seen in the previous sentences, ¿a quién le gusta el helado? Who likes ice cream? You say a mí, I do, right? So in the same sense, Again, a short response would be ¿Te importa acompañarme a la casa? Me encantaría. I would love to. Some other examples of this kind are ¿Te importa venderme la casa? Would you mind selling me the house? ¿Te importa? We've already said that importar is also like gustar. Me encantaría, again the same, it's a short response of saying Me encantaría venderte la casa. I would love to sell the house to you. Some other examples of this kind are ¿Te importa esperar aquí? Would you mind waiting here? ¿Te importa? Of importar, ¿te importa esperar aquí? No me importaría. I wouldn't mind is the answer, the short answer. No me importaría esperar aquí. No importaría, and the meaning is perfectly clear to the other person who's listening. Other examples are for convenir, creo que te convendría relajar un poco. I think it would be good for you to relax a little. Creo que te convendría relajar un poco. Again, I think it would be good for you to relax, relajar un poco, a bit. Sé que me hace falta, pero me sobra trabajo. I know that I need to, but I have too much of work. Sobrar. I have given the example of me sobra el dinero, pero me sobra trabajo. También. It also means I have too much of work to do. I know I need to. Sé que me hace falta, but I have too much work. Pero me sobra trabajo. So, the question is, creo que te convendría relajar un poco. I think that you need to relax a bit. The answer would be, sé que me hace falta, pero me sobra trabajo. Creo que te convendría tomar medicina. So, a person is not well, I will say, creo que te convendría tomar medicina. I think it would be good for you to take medicines. Sé que me hace falta, pero no tengo dinero. I know that I need it, but do not have money to buy the medicines, right? So, sé que me hace falta, pero no tengo dinero. So, in Spanish, by a short sentence, you have said a lot of things which you require to communicate to the other person. Creo que te convendría viajar a Europa. I think it would be good for you to take a trip to Europe. Creo que te convendría viajar a Europa. Sé que me hace falta, pero me sobra trabajo. I know I need to, but I have too much work. Again, the same example in a different context. Parece que no te entusiasma mucho viajar. We have used another new verb over here, which is parecer. Parecer, it seems. Parece que no te entusiasma mucho viajar. And we have used the negation, which is parece que no. It seems that you're not very excited about traveling. Parece que no te entusiasma mucho viajar. Entusiasmar is again a verb which is conjugated as per gustar. Or parecer is also a verb which is being used as in the sense of gustar. So we have used two verbs, parecer and entusiasmar, in one sentence, which are being conjugated as the verb gustar is being used. Parece que no te entusiasma mucho viajar. It seems you're not very excited about traveling. Parece que no te entusiasma mucho estudiar. It seems you're not very excited about studying. The same thing in a different context. Parece que no te entusiasma mucho estudiar. It seems you are not very excited about studying. So, we can again use this in another sense, another sentence which changes the context. It like, parece que no te entusiasma mucho bailar. It seems you're not very excited about dancing. We are talking about the same two verbs, parecer and entusiasmar, in different contexts so that you get a practice of how parecer, entusiasmar and gustar are being used and being conjugated in Spanish. Alright, now we move on to another verb which is tocar. Me toca a mí, and like I had said. So, I'll say, cada vez que me toca a mí, pierdo. Every time it's my turn, I lose. Cada vez que me toca a mí, pierdo. Or what I had said in the first one when I was talking about the list of verbs which are being used. Me duele la cabeza, I have a headache. Me duele la cabeza, I have a headache. Or me duele las piernas, me duelen las piernas. Because we're talking about legs which are in plural, we'll have me duelen las piernas. In the given text, we have seen how gustar is being used in Spanish. We have also learned how verbs like parecer and other similar verbs are being used in Spanish. With a little bit of practice, it is very easy to incorporate the use of these verbs into our Spanish oral activities. Let us look at the examples to understand it better. Sé que igual le parece estúpido, pero whatever. Sé que igual le parece estúpido, pero we can clearly see that parecer is not following the subject to be conjugated. The subject is not being followed to be conjugated. It is the object which induces the verb. Parecer, like gustar, is usually conjugated in the third person singular or plural form. We have seen how parecer is also being used like this, which is like the verb of gustar, and similar verbs which are being used in Spanish. We have to put a lot of practice to be understanding these and to be incorporating these into our Spanish interaction, whether it is oral or whether it is in writing. Again, I repeat another example. Siempre me gustó el aire en la cara mientras camino. Another example which makes it very clear to us that gustar verb has not been conjugated for the first person subject, which is in this case is I, but instead for the third person object, which is in the sentence. Siempre me gustó el aire en la cara mientras camino. El aire is the third person object with, on the basis of which the verb gustar has been conjugated. Now, to conclude, we can see that we have learnt everything about gustar and other similar verbs. But as we know that practice is what makes a man perfect. So, we need to do more exercises and learn how to use it. You can go over this module again and look at the examples to know how to practice and how to make yourself perfect. Once it is learnt, these usages have a wide application in the Spanish language. So it is very important to revise the chapter on indirect object pronouns and direct object pronouns, because these are being applied for verbs like gustar, parecer, aparecer, encantar, and the other verbs which we have mentioned in the course of this module. Thank you.